Oh boy, you're in for a treat. Hi, I'm Angel. I would like to read to you from the very first time from my rough draft of a story that's coming through me. And this is a new experimental process for our collective storytelling process, of which I am a part, and so are you. So listen up. Version 1. Take 1. The Little Chicken. It's January 22nd, 2022. Just a few days before my 51st birthday, by the way. And I've just recently decided that I must believe in myself and that most of my anger is due to my awakening to who I really am and being frustrated that I haven't been true to myself. And so rather than be resentful toward the outside world or toward myself, I've chosen to forgive myself and I've chosen to choose joy and I've chosen to move forward with love and with open-heartedness and open mind, as I have many times in this life. And recently, I was reminded of the Chicken Little story, of which I am quite familiar. I studied storytelling in college, among many other esoteric type of things, like ceramics. Is that esoteric? I don't know. Anyway, storytelling. The tradition of storytelling goes way back, and it's how we humans have long passed on our traditions and our understanding, the nuances of our relationships in the dynamics of our society. And only in the last 100 years or so, you could argue 300 years, you could argue since the Bible was written down, although that was just a few stories. But anyway, the prevalence of the written story, the story in the written form, is still in its infancy, to my view. And things like TikTok and YouTube and the social media platforms, which you are probably seeing me on now, and which many of us are participating in, are a new iteration of our trying to pin down the truth of what is a fluid thing, the truth, and how we get to it through our nuanced stories is ongoing. It's fluid. It's up to you and I. And so today what I present to you is me. I'm Gabrielle Angel Lilly. I gave you a little my background because you're going to filter that through what this story means to you. And the story of Chicken Little goes back. The first time that I know of that it was written down was in the 1800s, although it may very well have been written down before that, and I'm sure it was told before that, because every story that's been written down has been told a lot of times in various forms before it got written down, from my perspective. Now, the details change every time. The details every time we tell a story, or even if you read the same exact story that's written down, the details will change because you, the filter, the story reader, the consumer of the story, the viewer of the story, the reader of the story, the hearer of the story, will be filtering it. So even if you hit replay on this story, or my story about the story, you will still get something else different out of it. It will continue to change. Isn't that neat? I think it's very neat. I feel like I need to make this part 1 of my the Little Chicken Little update story. So I'm going to hit pause and start part 2 and actually read my first draft version, which I'm not even finished with. That's part of my experiment, among so many other parts, is that I want to start to read it. I'm being a vessel, a conduit for an upgraded version to keep up with our current state of the Chicken Little story. I ran into the Disney, I actually haven't even viewed or listened to the whole Disney version, but somebody sent me some clips of that And then somebody told me their version of the 1800s written down, first version with the leaf, and all that clicked together for me in a very neat way because it was also my friend Leaf's birthday. That was on the 20th, 2 days ago. Anyway, all that to say, stay tuned, come back around, find part 2, and I'll read you what I've got so far, which is, I don't know how much of my new version, because I don't know what's going to happen. That's part of what keeps me going forward. I welcome your questions and comments. Do subscribe and follow this playlist if it's on one so that you can catch the next one. I'll be seeing you. I'm excited. Ciao for now.